Hello guys, how are you?
Hello.
As
Hi,
you know,
hello.
Hello.
as you
Hello.
Hello.
as you know, this is our first meeting this period. We have successful notes or grade the last period, but in this time we are here to discuss didactic materials and it's important. I'm gonna start with my personal opinion. In this case, I say that learning materials are important because they can significantly increase student achievement by supporting student learning. For example, a worksheet may provide a student with important opportunities to practice a new a new skill gaining class. For example, this process aids in the learning process by allowing the student to explore the knowledge independently as well. As providing repetition. A learning material, guys, regardless or what kind, all have some function in student learning. We can divide it in a lesson structure, differentiation of instructions, acquiring teaching materials in this case. Um, I can talk about the three parts, but we have not a lot of time. So which will be the next in provide us the personal opinion about this topic.
Hey, Catherine.
Hi, guys. Nice to see you.
Mhm.
This is our first meeting, as you said. I think that the teaching material are so important in the class because they help us to develop our class in a better way. For example, when class are bored or when we don't know how to develop or how to teach a topic, then we can use the didactic material and it is so helpful for us. For example, when we use videos or cardboards or flashcards, those materials help us to have an interaction with the student and to have a knowledge because when we did, we learn too from the didactic material too. There are some things that are not clear or for the students that are not clear. And with the materials that we create, help us to clarify all the questions, all the doubts that the student may have.
Yes,
Thank
excellent,
you.
Catherine. I really share your opinion about materials, and I think so that to create a material has to be
Yes.
sorry guys, a material has to be very presentable for our students. We have to make to catch their attention because it's important, like for example in a video, if you have to be careful in which kind of video you're going to choose for your children, because if you choose a video which is for maybe level C1 and they are in level B1, they are not going to understand and they are going to get boring. So in materials has to be attractive for all of them too.
Delmis?
Hello.
Mhm.
Yes, teaching learning materials are essential tools that we are going to use to keep students engaged. As we know, we have to go beyond of just teaching the textbooks, and we have to be creative, as we have know that we now in our tasks that we have been developing, that we have to be really creative according to the level that we are teaching, and it's really important because it helps just to give an education of quality. The
I I agree with Elvis. Is I was searching about didactic materials, and there is true. There are resources of any instruments that help us to achieve any goals. Like they are auxiliary material that they help to they help to us are like teachers. It facilitates the acquisition of the setting of the learning. We as a teacher, we can motivate the students to learn better way with some materials didactic because we are attaching the attention of the students, and we help the education in the multiple intelligence. Why? Because they are paying attention. We are making things that are creative, and we can make critical thinkings with our materials our materials. We are going to enrich the sensory experience too and help to learning and the retention of the students.
Thank you. Who will be the next? Who is going to be the next?
For me, I think that using authentic learning materials is important because, well, it can promote students' motivation and can make also the content and methods like adapt to the needs and interests of the students. And well, it's important not only because they can influence in a very positive way the students' acquisition, but also because they can connect like the previous knowledge that they have acquired with the new ones.
Okay, guys, following all the comments that you already provided, yes, teaching materials are outstanding because they help us out to know our students. So in this case, we're going to adapt the materials to reach our outcomes in the class. For example, we need to know the level of our students and their interest. In this case, we are going to create authentic materials that are going to facilitate the learning process.
Thank you, Tanya.
I agree with you.
Yes.
Yes, about the creation of authentical materials, I want to see a disadvantage because most of the teachers don't have the necessary time to create their own materials. It's a little bit difficult, but it's not impossible, right?
It's not impossible.
Okay,
Okay, continue, please.
I agree with Salome and with the majority of you because we as a teacher, we need to know about the interests of our students, our context, the students' context, the students needed. We need to create we need to personalize materials for our students because each group has have different characteristic, different knowledge, previous knowledge, and we need to know. We need to consider different aspects as a context and needs.
Thank you so much. Is there someone else that you want to provide opinion, or we're all?
Hello.
No, thank you.
Okay. I apologize with you because I don't have electricity.
No worries. No worries.
Okay. In my opinion, I think that didactic materials are important because we enrich the learning process. For example, when we are teaching the numbers in period grades, we need to use realia materials or authentic materials. For example, we need to use object for that student because they need to touch them because they are learning through the experience to touch them. And
as you mentioned before, it is important to consider the level and how the material will be used. For example,
yes.
When the kids are later, or when we have little children, then with the material have to be colorful, have in some time have to be big, visible for all the class. And it is important, as Stephanie mentioned, that some teachers, we don't have time to develop the didactic material. But I think that we have to be committed with our job and do our best, even if we don't have time. Try for the way or find a method to do our material. Can be printing, can be looking in the internet, online sources too. Looking in the way to find something useful for our class.
About it, we need to know that the learning material differentiate according to type of learning styles. Differentiation of instructions is the tailoring of lesson and instruction to the different learning styles and capacities within your classroom. Learning materials, guys, such as worksheets, group activity instruction, games, or homework assignment, all allow you to modify assignments. The best activate each individual student learning style. So why we need to point in authentical material? Because we have a lot of resources. Attaining teaching material, guys, is not difficult. In fact, there are plenty of instructional resources to support lesson planning and teaching. For example, the internet has many resources for teachers. Most of them free. That's amazing, huh? That can significantly increase the content of your teaching toolbox. You can also make your own materials. Every learning material you develop will be an asset to you when on your next teach. Similar units as investment of time or money in good teaching materials is an investment in good teaching, guys.
I find some disadvantage of the material didactic, and one is that language structures, when they are not understood, the unorganized presentation is difficult for the students. And another is when the material is too long, the students going to lose when we are explaining or when we are making an explanation about what is a topic and we are going to practice with them. And I know there is a disadvantage because we know that the students lose very quickly. They are not paying attention to us all the time. And we have to find new vocabulary or vocabulary exactly the level of the students too.
I totally agree with you, Alexandra, because we have to be clear when we are gonna give instructions, especially if they are a little child. And about the vocabulary, I think so that we as teacher has to know about, not has to know, but we have to in the first step, see which vocabulary they know and they don't know to help them to understand better our worksheets, videos, and others materials.
I agree with you, with Stephanie and Alessandra. Some of the disadvantage that I have find was organization, because we have to be organized with our materials about physical materials and chronological materials, because when you are in front of the students, you have to be prepared, you have to be with your picture, with your worksheet, basically have an order, okay? And also didactic materials change every time. It's not a static. I mean that it's not a static materials, because for every group we have to change some, for example, instructions, activities. I think that, for example, vocabulary games we have to use for lower levels, not for higher levels, because it can be boring, right? We have to change our didactic in front each group.
Well, guys, we have at least 1 minute. Somebody else wants to say something?
My apologies, I lost my connection
Yes,
for a while.
I think that our classmate mentioned that we have to consider the learning style of the student, because when we make materials that have to be useful in our class, we are looking for in the future to continue using the same material that help us in every class as possible. Then I think that that depends too in the kind of students that we have, if our students are special or need an effort of ourselves to teach and to learn. then I think that when we make teaching materials, then we have to think if we can use it in the future, or if I can use it in 2 or 3 classes, and how our students will learn too with that materials.
Yes,
Thank you.
in other words, it's like we have to adapt our materials according to our kind of students, how they learned, and as well to their needs, right?
Yes.
The time is over, right?
Oh, okay.
Yes, guys,
Thank,
I think so. It's everything for tonight, and thank you for being here.
thank you for sharing your
Thank you.
opinion. Okay, guys. I think we are going to see you next time. Thank you for your collaboration. Great
See
work.
you.
Have a great
See
day.
you.
A great night. Bye
See you
bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.